All right, everyone. So tonight, this is our introduction to Apache Spark session, and the session is being recorded. And I'm Elena. We met at the introduction session about a couple weeks ago, right? Or 3 weeks ago. So here is the agenda for tonight. There are going to be some key reminders, including what not to do. We're going to talk about the environmental usage, how to ask for assistance effectively. We're going to talk a bit about the Spark environment and Python notebooks and high-level step for your first Spark assignment and maybe some troubleshooting tips. All right? But one thing I want you to keep in mind that every single semester, I've been doing this course for many years, since the day when it was offered for the first time. But every single semester, there is a unique challenge that comes up. So I really appreciate when students start working on assignment early and spot new issues because that helps everyone else. All right. So now, most of you have been doing a great job when you ask for technical assistance. So to ask for assistance effectively, that's what you need to do. You say what exactly what you're trying to do, what your expected results, and what is the issue. What steps are you taking to reproduce the problem? For example, I log into my data platform account, right? I entered my username, which is my email. I entered my password. I entered my region. Then I'm trying to create a new project, right? And when I click on the new project button, I expect to see this and this and this. But instead, I'm getting this error message, right? Something like that. This is what I expect per instructions, and this is the error what I'm getting, and this is how would you as a assistant reproduce that error. Something like that. That would help me a lot, and it would minimize the back and forth, right? Also, it's very important to make sure that your ticket goes to the right person. So I'm not sure how to emphasize this, but please do not call the UMGC help desk. You need to use the form in the classroom, and please make sure to select virtual lab support. And some people here who already received my assistance know that I do my best, and I put it as a top priority to get the student help as fast as possible. So some people here can attest that I make it as a high priority to make sure that everybody gets assistance. Or if I don't know the answer, at least I'll tell you that I start looking into an answer, because we are working with the cloud and new challenges come up every day as we speak, right? So please make sure select the correct case type, because if you don't select correct case type, case goes in the wrong people. Okay? All right. Hi, Professor Ozan. So first of all, well, I was just saying that it's very important to submit the correct ticket, correct virtual lab support, and do not call UMGC help desk. Okay?
Yes,
Now,
Elena, thank you.
yes. So here, please do not deactivate your IBM Cloud account, because this action cannot be undone. And so you're not gonna get another code. Well, not until December, but well, yes, in your case it's until December. Your code, the IBM Cloud code that you have is valid for 1 year, right? So you won't be able to get another code until end of this calendar year, right? So please be very careful with what you do on your account. And do not enter credit card information. I sound like a broken record, but I did have a student who did it. This semester, one student did it, but thankfully, they did not use their code before they did it. So they still had their code, and we could still work with them, okay? Object storage. If it's successfully created, please do not delete it, because then it's a problem. Okay, here's I had to go with a little exception here this weekend. Well, yes, do not open IBM tickets, but there were two students this weekend whom I had to tell to open a ticket. There were two people whom I gave permission and instructed, in fact, to open a ticket because there is a known issue. Okay, and at this point, I'm not sure what the root of an issue is, but one of the students, one of your classmates who did open the ticket just said that they were able to fix her account. So uh, I would greatly appreciate if you could email me the information that you got. Okay, what was the issue? But also this one, I have to tell you, please do not put the graded code in a discussion. Well, what do I mean by graded code? There are some exercises that are graded, right? You have to get them right to get the points. So this is not the group work; it's an individual work, right? But for the individual, for the ungraded exercises, please do ask for assistance if you need, right? But also graded code, when you look at the next assignment, right, assignment 2, it will matter because there is a big chunk of grade for assignment 2 where you are writing your own code or modifying the given code for the another data set, right? So please do not post the code that is going to be graded in the discussion because your mates, they have to do their work too, right? They're not learning anything if you just give them your solution. All right? Then please, when you open the Spark notebook, do not open it in two browser windows because you're gonna be consuming the capacity hours. There is something that called capacity hours. Hopefully all of you watched that video by now, right? So you don't want to be consuming it twice. Then do not forget to stop the kernel before exiting the notebook. Do not forget to stop the environmental runtime when you stop doing the work. And please do not share your work. It's important. Do not share your work with current and future data 650 students. Well, I do know that there are some changes upcoming in curriculum. 650 will be discontinued, but still, please, just to be careful. And do not submit other students' work because this is the way Turnitin works is this. Uh, so suppose that somebody, right, submits the work. I don't know, maybe they copied from somewhere, maybe they did their own work, but the second person who submits the same work is going to be dinged because Turnitin is going to make it a match. It's not going to be the person who first submitted the work, it's going to be the second. So if you submit somebody's work, it's going to be you who gets dinged for it, right? Some universities do both, but here it's going to be you because you are submitting the work that already exists in the Turnitin repository. So please, and do not make others in trouble also, okay? So just don't share. Let's say it this way to be safe. It's your work, okay? Now, uh, what's happening is that you have 10 capacity hours. What are the capacity hours? When you run in Spark, it's an environment, right? So here in this case, I have to say it's 311. Okay, this semester we use the Python 311. It was just released. You get 10 capacity unit hours. So as environment runs, it consumes capacity hours. 1.5 capacity hours per actual clock hour. So suppose that if I'm running my environment from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. all the time, it means that I'm consuming how many hours? 3 hours, right? And you have 10 capacity per hours per month, which is 6.6 actual clock hours. But do you really have to run the environment at all times? No. While you're writing the code, you should not be running the environment, right? You should not be doing that while you're running the code. Okay? Okay. Well, we're gonna get to the bucket. We're gonna get to the bucket. Okay? Just but okay, the message just post in the chat. Just asked an excellent question in the chat, but the fact that she posed that question, it shows me some good news. The good news are that she was able to create a project. So Jess was able ultimately to create a project. Excellent progress. Your question shows progress. That the issues that you had with creating a project was resolved. But I'm gonna discuss the bucket. Thank you very much, Jess.
Thank you.
Anyways, okay, now so you want to so one thing, remember this, if you just close the browser tab, you're not saving your capacity hours, right? So like I have logged in, right? So if I just go here and do this, right? And I still have my I have my environment running when I just go do this. No, I'm not gonna be saving my capacity hours, right? So what you should do before you log out, look at this. I click here, right? And do you see this administration menu, right? In administration menu, you're gonna go here and you're gonna see this environmental runtime. This page is gonna show you what you currently have running at this time, right? So some important numbers here. If you see anything listed in here, see this active environmental runtimes. If you forgot to stop the Spark, it will be listed here. You would have to click on the stop button to delete. Right from here, you can stop. You can stop it from this page. But another thing is that see here, these numbers are very important. The first number is the capacity hours that you use this month. The second number is what you have remaining for this month. So as you are using the environment, right, the capacity unit hours go up, 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 up. What's going to happen when it hits 10? Well, if you hit 10, your current session, your currently active session will continue running. You're not going to be kicked out, okay? But you will not be able to start the session again. Sometimes I saw this number here above 10. Why? Well, because the thing is, if you started your Spark session, right, it keeps on running, 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 running until it times out or until you stop it. If on your last Spark session, if you reach 10, you're not going to be stopped. Your current session is not going to be stopped. You will be able to continue working, but you won't be able to start the Spark again. See what I'm saying? So when you hit 10, it does not mean that it necessarily will kick you out. No, you might still be able to use it, but you won't be able to come back to use it again. So see, so you have to be careful. You watch out. You need to always make sure that no runtimes are running when you're not using the system. That's the period. If you forgot, immediately as soon as you remember, log into your account, go to this environmental page and stop. Okay. All right. So I mean, I sound like a broken record, but okay, there's a lot to explain now. So closing browser does not do it. Here is a list of must-know vocabularies, because if you don't know what this terminology means, if I try to help you with assignment, we're going to be speaking foreign language to each other. If you don't know what Cloud Park is, right? Like, for example, you may say, okay, I don't see this option. I say, are you on IBM Cloud or on Cloud Park, right? So you need to know that what is Cloud Park? It's a sub-platform within IBM Cloud Platform. And it used to be called Watson Studio. So in some readings, you may see it as Watson Studio. Okay, so you know it refers to the same thing. Okay. A project. What's a project? Project is basically a container where you put the notebooks and the data related to the same tasks, right? Those are called project assets. You have a cloud object storage. What is object storage? Is a location where project data gets stored, right? Sometimes output can be written to the storage, but for this class at this point, we're just going to use the data file and upload it to object. We're uploading the data file to the project. It will be uploaded to object storage. So when you create your first project, object storage should be created for you, right? If not, then you won't be able to create a project. So there is currently a problem. It does not affect everybody, but a couple people reported that they could not create the project, right? And I did a screen share with at least one of them. And we tried to add object storage manually, just by going to the IBM Cloud, and that did not work. So there is an existing problem. So if any of you are attending the session or watching this recording, right? After this, immediately, please, log into the data platform, right? And try to create your first project. Even if you're not going to do your whole assignment tonight, just try to see if you're able to create your project, just this piece. Make sure it works, it goes through. If not, then there are steps to be taken. All right? So remember the different types of cells, right? There are cells that are executable code, and there are cells that describes what your code does. I'm going to talk about the credential piece. This is very important, right? Because when you upload the data to object storage, you have to have a way to read the data from the storage, right? That's where this piece comes from, and we'll show you, right? Things like bucket name, I'll show you where to get it in another way, okay? So, and of course, please remember this. Action command versus transformation. This is very important to know the differences, right? And capacity unit hours. This terminology is going to be your friend this week, these few weeks. Okay? So here are the high level steps. You're going to, all of you should have your IBM Cloud account right now, right? No excuses here. You're going to log in. You're going to go to the Cloud Pack for data. You're going to create an empty project, right? You put project name, project description. So this is the first project, right? You would have to, well, object storage will probably should be created for you, right? It should be created, pre-populated. At some point, it was not the case, but it should be the case now. Now, next thing is that you have to turn on, this is only once. There is something called the storage delegation. So what you have to do is it's in the settings, okay? Configurations and settings. You would have to go there and you go to the storage delegation and you have to make sure that this button is turned on. Why? Because you're giving your projects permission to use the space and object storage for uploading data, right? So this option, this needs to be checked only once, okay? So remember this piece, okay? Now, I will show you how to add data, but see, before we did it, so what I did was I created the project. Some people were reported that they could not create project, right? So what I did was I just went to projects and I clicked new project, right? Your project, I click new project and I named my new project Sprint 2025, right? So I created it, I had no problems. But why I did not have any problems? Because I already have an account. No problem, right? So the issue is probably either on certain accounts or there was an issue on a specific day. That's a piece I'm trying to figure out still. But anyway, so here, this is a project overview, right? This is a project assets that will show what I have in my project. I don't have anything at the moment, right? When I go to manage, I can see my information, more detailed information about my project. But take a look at this bucket. This is one way where you get your bucket name right here. See this? I went to the project. So how did I do again? I'm in my project, right? There is a project overview page, project assets page, right? There's a page where all your data and your notebooks will show. And I went to manage. When I go to manage page, this is my bucket number for this project. The bucket name is going to be different depending on a project and on an account. So do not copy the bucket name from instructions, okay? Because your bucket name is going to be different from the bucket names that are in instructions. It also different for the project. If I create a different project, right? My bucket name is going to be different. Even if it's the same notebook, different project, different bucket name. So this is the specific bucket name in this project. I see it here. Okay, it will appear in a couple places, but if you want to just copy it from here, okay, it's going to make it easier. if it makes it easier for you. Okay? So that's one way. I hope I answered the question in the chat. Okay, you can do it this way. All right? Did I answer it? It's different, always different. Sure, okay, good, this one. Now, and that next thing is that you have to upload the data, right? So how do you do the upload the data? They keep on changing this, they keep on changing this interface, right? But you can do, you can just upload the data, right? Oh, hold on. They always keep changing it on me. But see, like if I click on new asset, right? This is where you would upload in notebooks. They change this interface again. See this? So to upload the notebook, it's this one. Work with data and models in Python and R notebooks. See this? This is for the notebook. But you also have to add the data, right? So they just changed the interface on me. Whoa. Okay, let me see. If I go to import, oops, not it. So let's take a look at this here. Oops. Okay, I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. There used to be, see, they keep on changing the interface all the time. Okay.
I thought if you click on that import assets, a local file option was coming up.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Data asset. See this change. This is a new change. It just happened. It just happened over 2 days. Trust me. Okay, so you just click on data asset. Thank you very much. Yes, you click on data asset and then you go browse and you're gonna find your file. So this is how you would do it, right? You're gonna find your file. In my case, it's this one, import region. I'll just go open and that's it, right? So I uploaded my file. That's it. See? Okay, done. Thank you. See, they keep on changing. So some of you reported that the screenshots do not match what you actually see. Well, yes, it's because they keep on changing the interface as we talk. They changed it on me today. Seriously, it was not this way. See, now it shows here data, and I have one data asset in here. Okay? Yeah, you just do import assets, right? And then you just did the local file, okay? And when in the local file, you select data asset, and that would import what? The data. Then, for this is just the project file, right? But then you would need to create, to add the notebook, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna click on the new asset, right? Then you have to find this one, work with data and models and Python and R notebooks at this one. See, they changed the location again. So see, oh, this is recent. See this? It shows what I recently used. But if you don't see it, then you would just need to look through it, right? It's gonna be under prepare data. It's gonna be under prepare data, but this is what you'll do. See this? You're gonna select this one. Now what you need to do is you need to select here. There are multiple ways to add a new notebook. You can do one from scratch. You can pick the sample one, or you can do the local file, which is what I'm gonna do, or you can do the URL. When you choose the URL, well, you know that some notebooks are published, right? You can reuse one of the published notebooks. But I'm going to do the local file, and I'm going to do browse right now. There's a changes interface of me, see, because you cannot keep uploading and updating instructions because they may change again tomorrow, and what you're gonna do, right? So unfortunately, you cannot go by this. We need to be able to figure out. We need to see the big picture of what we are trying to do and figure out from there. right? So here it is. It's employee attrition analysis. I selected it. Now, very important. You have to select the correct environment. And what is the right environment? Okay, this one. Now I'm not sure how come it became black and white. A few days ago, I took a screenshot that is in your slides. And it's not black and white, but it does not matter. Okay, take a look at this. This is a Spark 3.4, Python 3.11. Here I have to warn people who do things at the last moment or after the work is due. What can happen is at any time, Spark 3.4 could be deprecated and they could put Spark 3.5, right? 3.5 is already out there. At any time, they could change, they could upgrade, right? And if they do, for a little bit, for some time, there are going to be two versions available, and then they can take the older version out, but the assignment code was not tested on Spark 3.5, right? So what happens if you're the one who, for some reason, are doing this assignment 2 months from now? Well, if Spark 3.4 is gone and Spark 3.5 is the only one that's available, you're gonna take a chance. Maybe the code still works, but if it does not, you have additional homework to figure out why and what can be done to fix it, right? Because the code was not tested in Spark 3.5. Usually we look at the latest version on a week before the assignment is released, right? So the assignment was just released and this is the latest that is available, right? So it's this one. All right, because we cannot speak for what happens in 2 months from now. Sorry, that's not how it works, right? All right, so now I'm gonna hit create, and what, see this name was populated from me, from the notebook name, but it's editable. Okay, I'm gonna hit create. What's gonna happen right now? Important to watch, it's gonna start the environment, right? It's gonna start the environment, but the way this is set up is that this notebook has some examples and it has some exercises that you need to do. Before you can actually do exercises, you need to understand how examples work, right? So my suggestion is to run these examples without running exercises. Then you're gonna open the notebook in a view mode in a way that lets you view the output without consuming the hours, and you're gonna study the examples. And then you're gonna do the actual assignment, right? Okay, well, it's just saying that this notebook was initially written for the so I'm just gonna hit select here. This notebook was initially written in the earlier Spark version, so I'm just gonna click on select here. Very good, okay? Now here you want to make sure that it's Python with Spark, okay? Because we're not using just Python, we're using Spark. So this is my notebook. This is what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna scroll down. In this here, you have to add the credentials. You have to read the data from the object storage, right? So there is a slide on this. See, they changed the slide on me. Okay, now we added notebook from the file, right? And this is a screenshot. This is a correct environment. Okay. Now, there are a few things here that you'll need to do. You have to. Okay, so here is how to import the code for this. You have to go to you have to go up and there is an, oh boy, they changed it with me, they changed it for me again. Because if you look at it, right, it's in the edit mode, and instead of, see here, they used to here the long time ago, here this panel used to show the available data that you have, not anymore. So there is another screenshot here that shows this. This is the code snippet, another icon. This is a shortcut. You're gonna click on this, click on the code snippet, right? Now you're gonna click on the read data, right? Then you're gonna click on here, and you're gonna click on a data asset. And this is the data that you're working with, right? So you're gonna select this data. See this? And you're gonna click on the select, right? So now this is gonna show here, this data. But now you go back to this cell where you're asked to put the code. Here, what do you want to load it? You want to load it as Spark session data frame. And if you do not see this option, it means that you probably loaded just Python without Spark. So if you do not see this option here, you probably chose the incorrect environment, okay? So you select this, you place the cursor here, insert code to cell. Okay, so this is, where is the object storage bucket name? This is a bucket name right here. See this? The code might look slightly different from the code in a screenshot, which is expected because they change as I speak, right? So now, here, this option says that the first row is a header, right? But there are a few things that you need to do, and it's very important. What does it say to do? The first of all, you are instructed to rename this here is SDF underscore data underscore one, right? Why are you instructed to do that? Because this is how this variable is being called throughout the code, right? df underscore, what is it, data, df underscore data underscore one, right? You have to change it in two places. It's in here, right? This two. Non-negotiable, you must name it. Why? Because this is how this is called in the rest of the code. Then there is another thing that you need to change. You have to put this in for schema option, right? So the way I would do it, I could just do like this, Control C. I'll just do Control V, right? I'm gonna line it up. And then I'm gonna put this one in for schema, right? And this is case sensitive. So I'll just do this. See this? In for schema. Why do you have to do it? Because in your data you have some numeric columns. When I'm analyzing the age column, I want to take my average age, right? So I want to make sure that my age data is read as a number. I want the Spark to read my data type correctly. If you do not put this line, then it's going to look at the age column and it's going to analyze the ASCII values instead of age values, okay? So it's going to be read wrong. You want to make sure that correct data types are read, right? And while I'm doing now blah, 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 what's going to happen in my capacity hours are running. So I have to be careful right now, right? Okay, so next step is this. You're going to take this and you're going to put it where it says bucket. See this? It says bucket, you're going to replace with this. Okay? Just the word bucket. Replace with this. It's not going to be the bucket from instructions, it's your bucket. How do you get it? Well, I showed you earlier, that's one way. Another way is just going to be spit out in the code here. Okay? Now, what you're going to do next is you're going to put this on the first cell and you're going to run the whole notebook, right? So let me see. Well, yes, the load line is going to be different. Yeah. Well, it's taking the location. See this? It's taking the location where your this is trying. It's taking the location of the file and the file name. It's trying to access. It's trying to read the file that is stored in object storage. That's what it's doing here. So this is just, it gets where the file is, right? It's a path to the file. So then you're taking, this is a file path, right? And this is the format of the file at the path. It's showing me that my first row in the file is a header and that I want to read the data types as they are. That's what it does in here. Okay? No worries. I'm so glad you asked, because you want to make sure that you understand. You don't want to leave this session without understanding it, right? That's why I'm doing this session. Excellent questions. Okay, so what this does, it reads data and it outputs the first 10 rows that are red, right? So then what I recommend you do is you run everything. You run the whole notebook, right? You can just run the whole notebook, or you can run a cell at a time, the way it works for you, right? Remember different types of cells. This cell is what? This is a markdown cell because it describes what the code does, right? And it has a menu. Like if I click on it, it takes me to the corresponding section, right? And see this? This is just it's just the markdown it took me. And this is how you would write, this is how you would create the menu. And I'm gonna talk about creating the menu in the next session, right? But this is a markdown cell, okay? So then basically you can run it, right? You can run the whole notebook or you can run the selected cell, okay? So you just select and you can run the whole thing, right? So run selected cell and all below. This is the way you would run everything. I'm not gonna actually run everything, but I'm just showing you what you would do, right? This is your assignment to run it. After you're done running it, right? So see that this is what you will see. As it runs, you're gonna see this asterisk. It means that the cell is still being executed. See, that's the cell output. This shows the current version, right? So here is just showing you the date. So that way you cannot submit somebody's work from last semester because it will show the professor the date when you run the code, right? So you keep going. And when you're done, right? So I'm gonna stop this because I don't want to run the whole assignment for you, right? When you're done, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna you're gonna, well, of course it's gonna save the work, right? But you want to do kernel and you want to do the shutdown kernel. I shut down the kernel, right? Then I went back to my project, leave. But how do I want to be sure, truly sure that I shut down the kernel, that I'm no longer consuming the hours? I want to go here and I always want to go to the administration and I want to go to environmental runtime and I want to check to make sure that I'm not running anything. If I was running, it would show here, but take a look at what happened to my capacity hours. I used 0.2, right? But I used it and I showed you what needs to be done, right? Okay, then what you're gonna do, you go back to your project, right? So you need to go to the view. You can go to view all projects and then click on the project, right? I go here. Now what you can do? You want to study the examples, but you don't want to consume hours while you're studying those examples. So you're gonna click on here and you're gonna click on view. If you open your notebook like this, you're not consuming any hours. And you can just study what the output does, right? Because you see that you can just study, right? You going to open, I stopped. I did not actually run the code, I stopped the code. You going to do it after you execute the code. I don't see the output right now because I stopped it, but you will, okay? So you're gonna see the output, but what you want to look at that is there are some exercises and there are examples. If you look at the examples, for example, you can have an example that shows you how to output the statistics for one of the columns, right? Your exercise is to do the same statistics but for a different column, something like that, okay? So like here, working with data frame, so here are the examples, and here's an exercise. See this? Write the code to show the summary statistics for average monthly hours. And up there, right, you have an example that shows statistics for the satisfaction level column. See this? Here, this line here shows the satisfaction level. Your task is to do those statistics, but for a different column. So you have to make sure that you understand how this examples here work to be able to do the graded exercise one. And so goes for the rest of the exercises, right? The graded ones. For the ungraded ones, they're a little bit more challenging. You don't have to get ungraded exercises right, but you need to make an attempt, okay? So what you will do is you're gonna have exercise 6, grade exercise 6, where it says to show the salary level and the number of employees at each salary level, right? They're gonna have a query here. This ungraded exercise adds a little bit of complexity, where it tells you to just add the department name. So you're gonna have something like this, perhaps technology department, salary level high, 10 people. I'm just making arbitrary numbers, okay? Department name, technology, salary level, medium, 7 people. Department name, HR, salary level, low, 70 people. That's how the output is going to look like, right? Here, on a graded exercise, the output looks like salary level high, 1,000 people. Salary levels low, 50 people. It's just arbitrary example. Here, you're adding another column, hint, hint, right? So SQL, it's an SQL. You have select clause that shows which columns you're selecting, right? So of course, you're gonna be selecting department name in addition to these 2 columns, right? Then for the group by, you're gonna be grouping by department name and salary level, right? Remember that in a SQL, in a group by, you have to add every non-aggregate column that is in select clause has to be added to the group by clause. So here you're grouping by department name and salary level. You have to put those 2 columns in a group by clause, right? This one takes a step further, right? Similar query as in ungraded exercise 1, you just add another column. Exercise 3 is a little bit tricky because it checks to make sure that you understand the data. So you know you have this column here, last column. It says that people who stayed, attrition value is 0 if you stayed and 1 if you left the workforce. So how do I know how many people left? You take the sum, right? Just remember, the last, I'll just give you a hint. The last ungraded exercise does not require subqueries. You can do it in one query. So because if you know this column, you know this column, right? If you take a sum of this last column, you're going to know how many people left the workplace. When you take the count, you know the total number of people, right? But when you take the count minus the sum, you get the number of people who stayed. And you can have more than one aggregate function in a select clause. You can have a sum, you can have count, right? I just gave you several hints so that you don't spend a lot of time on it. But here the point is to make your attempt. Well, to give you the history, long time ago, the graded exercise was a query with 2 grouping column, and a lot of students unfortunately had a hard time. So the decision was to still keep that exercise with 2 grouping column because you need to know how to do that for the work, right? In the work, if you're doing SQL, you need to know how to do the summary queries with more than one grouping column, right? So the decision was to keep it as an ungraded for now, but in the later assignments, you will see the graded exercise where you have more than one grouping columns in a query, okay? So this is a review. And please at least attempt the ungraded exercises. You're not going to be graded if they're right or wrong, but you need to make an attempt, okay? and then later the answer key will be provided for ungraded exercise. Okay? So all good so far? Now, you're ready to write the code again. You're gonna write the code that you're gonna add in the notepad. When you're ready to do that again, then you're gonna open this notebook, right? And you're gonna click on what? Edit. Because at that time you want to add your code, right? Very important here. You want to rerun the whole notebook from scratch. You want to clear out the output because you want to see, you cannot run just one cell at a time. You need to run everything at once, right? So what you have to do here is this. You have to do restart kernel and clear output of all cells. You want to clear all output, right? This is what you would do. But before you do that, you're gonna scroll down to every cell which is set aside for an exercise. And you're gonna paste your code, right? So this is graded exercise 1. You're gonna paste your code here. You're gonna scroll to all of them and paste your code. And once you're ready, once your code is ready, you're gonna go here, you're gonna restart the kernel and clear all output, okay? Then you're gonna rerun the whole notebook again. Here you have a choice. You can run one cell at a time, and you can rerun everything. But if you do make a syntax error, you have to correct it. You know what I'm talking about, right? So anyway, this is what you would do. But now let me do something stupid. I exited like this. I didn't stop the kernel. Okay, well, I'm still here, not a big deal. This is what you do. Go here, go to the environmental runtimes, and you should see it. See this? It appears here, right? So what do I need to do before I log out? Very important, I have to stop it. See this? There is an option to stop. In the actions, I'm gonna click on this delete to stop, and I'm gonna click on delete. This is gonna stop my environment, okay? Very important. If you forgot, as soon as you remember, do that, because you're gonna run out in no time, okay? If you're doing this assignment correctly, you should not be consuming more than 1 capacity hour for this assignment, okay? Some of you might be wondering, where is assignment 2? This is not an assignment 2, this is a pre-assignment 2. You have to turn in this assignment to unlock assignment 2, okay? Assignment 2 has 3 parts. First part, and we're gonna have another session for assignment 2, but I'm just trying to tell you that if you're doing this one right, it shouldn't take more than 1 hour. And please do it this week, so that way you can use, if you make a mistake this week, it's a cheap mistake. Why it's a cheap mistake? Because the month is about to end, right? So try it today or tomorrow, because you're gonna get, your hours are gonna be refilled to 10, okay? You have 2 days, the month ends. So if you forgot to stop the environment, it's a cheap mistake today. Why it's a cheap mistake today? Because the month is about to end, right? But still, you know, use this time, use this last 2 days of the month to learn how to use the environment. You have to stop, right? For the assignment 2, there will be 3 parts. Part 3 does not require an environment, right? It's going to be the research. Part 1, you're given the code. The only thing that you will need to do is that credentials block and a bucket name. So if you're doing it right, the first part of assignment 2 should not consume more than half an hour, because all you have to do is just put the credentials and change the bucket name, and you have to download the notebook, right? Follow instructions, you save in the file as HTML, and you can print HTML to PDF. I like PDF better. Okay, so please yeah, because bulk of your hours should be spent on a part 2, where you're gonna begin, you will need to write the code, adjust the code for the different data set, okay? So most of the hours will be spent there. and the hours are refilled to 10 at the end of the calendar month. So I might be thinking, I still have 9.8 hours. Can I transfer those hours to the next month? No, I cannot carry over the unused hours to the next month. But on the other hand, if I blow those hours today, I won't be able to do my work until the next month, see? So just remember that, okay? If you're doing it right with 10 hours, you can do a lot, right? The reason they added this restriction because people used to live and not stop the environment. They were wasting a lot of resources. It's like running your furnace and having all windows open at the same time, all the time. Like all day and night, you have all your windows open and running the furnace, like wasting the energy, right? Some people did it when they don't have to pay for the gas. I've seen people do it when they don't have to pay for the gas. They put the setting all the way up and, have all windows open. No, it's not gonna work like that. You're gonna close the windows and put the setting that is comfortable for you. You're not gonna be wasting the gas, right? Same thing here. They stopped it. They did it to stop people from wasting the resources. Okay? There are more and more users and people were not watching. They kept on environment running and they would just go in and close the top to leave uh, and that did not help anyone. So the limit was introduced recently. Okay. Oh, you forgot to. Yes, it will still run. If you forget to shut down the kernel, it will still run. Yes. This is a problem. It will still run, okay? As soon as you remember, you need to go and, I might sound paranoid, but always, before logging out, very important, you go to here and check, make sure nothing is running. But for you, the good news is you did it now, and the month is almost over, okay? The month is almost over, but still, please, 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 please. Oh, and the fact that you were able to do that gives me good news. You were able to create a project without any issues. So I want everyone after this session, please create a project. Please see if it lets you create a project because there is a known issue with creating a project and two people ran into issues. So yes, and yes, and again, I would greatly appreciate to know what exactly the support said because in years I never had to have as a student submit the support ticket. This weekend was a unique weekend. For a long time there were no support. I was the first line of support for students, but this is a unique situation where the student tries to create projects, and when you create a project, it should create the object storage for you, right? So if I go to projects, it should do it for me, but it did not do it for some people. So like, see, like if I was going to here, click on the new project, right? I click on a new project. What it should do, it's supposed to pick up that I have an object storage. See, I already have it. But even if it's a new, you should already have it, but they did not. So what they had to do was they tried to create object storage manually, and for some reason it would not give the free option. Then we tried to go to the IBM Cloud, not Cloud Pak for data, but IBM Cloud, and to create the object storage there from the catalog. And it would throw an error that the resource group was disabled, something like that. So that's a unique case. But most of the time, no, you don't submit cases. I had a student who asks for help with coding. No. They don't know what your assignment is. They're not going to be helping you with Python code. Please don't do that. Okay? Well, this is just how to restart the kernel. Okay? This is just shows you where to stop the environment. Please remember to stop the environment, right? And this just shows this is one way to check what environment you're using. Okay? And you see that screenshot, well, the idea is the same, but this screenshot was taken a while ago when it was Spark 3.0. All right. Well, here are just some notebooks, some examples. They might still be there. It's just for you if you want to learn more in your spare time. Right now, I'm gonna take questions. Please, guys, questions. While you're thinking about questions to ask, in a couple weeks, we're gonna have another session. On that session, I'm gonna give you a different example, an example that you're not given in the classroom. Okay? So that's gonna be more like something that I want you to get away with, something that I want you to learn more, because the purpose of the session is to add to what's already in the classroom, right? To help you learn more in depth, right? Because some of you might be doing it for work tomorrow, nobody knows, right? So please plan to attend the next session in 2 weeks from now. It will also be recorded, but it will really help you with part 2 of the assignment. Okay? And it also will show you some areas where you can go more, because to get a higher grade, you need to go beyond the minimum requirement. So I'm just going to be giving you some options, some opportunities where you could perhaps go beyond the minimum. Okay? So next sessions, there will be a different example, different notebooks that will not be in the classroom, but will be given to you after the session, okay? And for this session, you're gonna get this recording and the slides. Make sense? And please, please promise me that you're gonna try to create a project, at least. If you're not able to get the assignment done today, I understand. But what I do know is that several people have been able to submit the work. And based on the questions that I received today, some people have been able to create project, okay? Yes. Okay. Any questions, guys? Instructors, Professor, do you want to add something to what I have not said yet? Oh. Oh, yeah. Excellent questions. You have to turn in the quiz. That's right. Yes, you have to turn in the quiz. Yes, the quiz. And the reason this quiz is the one that you have to submit is because auto-graded quiz only works for multiple choice, and it works for questions like multiple choice, multi-select, and true and false. Auto-graded quiz does not work for questions where you have to write a sentence as an answer. So for this quiz, you have to submit. Yes, it will be graded by the instructor. Yes, 2 files. Excellent. Okay. But oh, what is this default Spark for assignment 2? Oh, what do you mean default Spark for assignment 2? Oh, the Spark that you have to use for assignment 2? You will use the same Spark version. You're gonna use the Spark Python 3. You're gonna use for the same version as for this one. Oh, let me see. I keep because it's Spark 3.4, right? And it's the same environment. Jesus, Python 3.11. That's a Python version. Oh, we use latest now. If they release the next one, well, fair game. But this one is the version that the code should work in. Spark 3.4, 3.11. But definitely do not select the environment without Spark. Definitely do not select the R. Okay? If you selected Python 3.10, well, okay, not a big deal, but do not select the environments that do not have the Spark, and do not select the environments that are not Python, okay? We're not using R. This is a Python code, okay? I hope it makes sense. Professor Rosanna, are you still here? Anything you want to add? Oops. No? Oh well. Okay, just wanted to ask if anything you wanted to add because you'll be great in it. All right. Any other questions, guys?
Hi, Irina. Our professor shared one of your earlier recordings for the same thing. And in that, you showed an option for unlocking the notebook, which was in the locked state or something like that. But
Mhm.
here, we did not see anything in today's.
Oh, there is no option to unlock the notebook, then maybe it does not get locked. Who knows? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Unlocking the notebook. Yeah, because sometimes when you open it, right, you cannot open again, there is a lock. But it's not locked, see? But did you get your notebook locked? Is your
And
notebook locked?
no, I still did not go to that part. I was just going through that video.
Ah, mm-hmm. Yeah. In the past versions, sometimes, like when you open notebook, sometimes it was locked, right? Like I open, I exit, and it was locked. Sometimes you would see the lock. Then you would just click to unlock. But at the moment, it's not locked, so I don't see that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So, yes, I don't see that, so it does not apply. But yes, it did happen before, right? If I was running it, right? I was running it, and then I suddenly exited it. The session had a lock on it because I was editing it. You don't want somehow to have two sessions editing the notebook at the same time, something like that. It was just locked. And like, and if it's locked, then you cannot delete it. You just unlock. That was it. They keep on changing this interface on me all the time. So I hear people who say that the instructions don't exactly match the interface, but this is a little puzzle here because they keep on changing the interface as we speak. So I could update it today, but tomorrow it could be totally different. But the whole idea is that try to get the steps, and then it's a matter of how do I get each step done? Where do I go to get the step? Yeah. So yeah. Any questions? I love questions. No questions. Well, if there are no questions, we call it a night. And please mark your calendar in couple weeks. Well, it's not gonna be on Wednesday, but it's gonna be on different day, but it's gonna be about the same time, right? Wait a minute. This is what, week 3, right? Then probably be on Wednesday. If it's a week 5, then it's gonna be on Wednesday. Because on week 6, I have other session on Wednesday. So on week 5, it's probably, but you're gonna, okay, stay tuned for announcement, okay? In couple weeks, watch for announcement. Exact time will be announced, okay? Day and time. It's probably gonna be 8 p.m., but the day will be announced. All right, in 2 weeks from now, another session. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'm gonna end the recording, and you're gonna get the recording, and you're gonna get the slides, okay? All right, and I hope you guys enjoy your evening.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.